real estate's one of the best ways to build wealth. The most important key when it comes to raising funds is you have to find the right deal. Hey, listen, I just don't want to screw up my credit. Here, if you can afford this mortgage, you take it. You want to find a property at a tremendous price, and then what you do is instead of borrowing the money, improving the value, and flipping it for this amount of money, and you win because you didn't do anything. You shuffled some paperwork around and you got paid 50 grand to do it. How do you get started? You know, people see that you can make a lot of money, especially in America. Real estate's one of the best ways to build wealth. So naturally, everyone's interested, right? So I wanted to talk about a few different ways that being a beginner, you could jump into this and get the ball rolling on your real estate empire. All right. So the first one that I want to talk about is flipping property. Okay. Now, flipping property, a lot of times people think you need a ton of money out of pocket, but if you know how to get financing in a creative way, there's plenty of people that are willing to give you money. The most important key when it comes to raising funds is you have to find the right deal. Okay, that's how I got started. You know, I didn't have a reputation yet. People didn't see me as a real estate expert in the beginning. But one thing that people could see and they could trust is a property that was worth a ton of money. And guess what? I got it at this price. When you do something like that, people don't need to trust you because they know, hey, this house is worth $600,000 and I bought it at $250,000 and I need you to lend me $300,000 in order to buy it and fix it. People will feel confident because there's so much equity that it's very hard to screw up that deal, so they feel like their money is safe. So that's the most important thing, okay? You gotta find the right property at a tremendous price. After that, you'll find people that wanna lend you the money. You'll find the contractors you need. Even if things take longer than expected, you're fine because you have such a big difference that you don't need to worry about it. Another way to get started in real estate when you're just starting out, you don't have a lot of money or experience, you can also just do wholesaling. So we go back to that same concept that I just brought up. You want to find a property at a tremendous price, and then what you do is instead of borrowing the money, improving the value, and flipping it for this amount of money, you just cut out all of these steps and just sell it at this price instead. So again, let's go back to our example. $600,000 property, you bought it for $250,000. If you just wholesale it at $300,000, so you go find another investor, someone who might be more interested in the property, who has the crew, can do it. If you're selling them that property for 300 grand, it's still a great deal. That investor or end user still wins because they got a great discount, and you win because you didn't do anything. You shuffled some paperwork around and you got paid 50 grand to do it. So again, it all goes back to finding a good deal. Now, a third option that you can do with little to no money down is something called subject to. So what subject to is when you find a seller and basically you convince them to take on their mortgage from them. So these are probably sellers that are in a tight financial situation. Maybe they're about to go into foreclosure. You know, they're behind on all their mortgage payments. Something that's very common nowadays is with the pandemic, a lot of people, they postpone their mortgages, right? So they called up the bank and they said, hey, listen, I can't make this payment. Can I make the payment in 4 months from now? So the banks modify the loan, but a lot of times those banks didn't push back the loan at the end with those 4 months. They said, okay, for 4 months you don't have to pay, but then you owe all of that money in one shot. So these are just some real world example of the type of sellers that might be interested in what's called a subject to. So then you come in as the buyer and you say, hey, listen, in order to avoid foreclosure or bankruptcy or ruin your credit, why don't you sell me the property subject to your loan, so I basically get onto the loan with you. And this way, you know, there is a little bit of a wrinkle because you guys will be tied together on that property until you refinance out of that loan or you pay that loan off. But if the seller's motivated to leave, they may be willing to sell it to you at very, very little to no money out of pocket because they say, hey, listen, I just don't want to screw up my credit. Here, if you can afford this mortgage, you take it. You know, if you can make these back payments that I owe the bank in the next 90 days, you pay those back payments, you keep paying the loan, and at least I get to walk away and I don't have to worry about it anymore. So those type of sellers do exist. You just have to look for them, all right? So now, as always, I got to keep it 100 with you. You guys know I've been doing this for over 20 years. And obviously you got a lot of these real estate gurus and these realtors on your feed. I know I'm not the only one, but they're just barking things that they've read online, right? They type into Google, 5 quick tips to do this and that. Let's be honest here. For a beginner investor, I remember when I first started out, it's difficult, okay? This is not easy. You have to be committed. And it's not really something that, oh, I can do it in my spare time, you know, in my bedroom or from my couch on my phone. You know, ultimately, the thing about real estate that I absolutely love and I think it's so beautiful is there's no limit to the money that you can make and the wealth you can build. But the thing about real estate is you get out of it exactly what you're willing to put in. So if you treat it like a part-time job, you treat it like a hobby, you can't be surprised when you get paid like a part-time job or a hobby. But if you take it seriously and you really focus and you add it to your portfolio or treat it like a career, there's no limit to the amount of money that you can make. But you have to take it seriously, okay? You can't half-ass it. If you guys have any questions, you want to talk about this a little bit deeper, or if you need help buying, selling, investing, you want to talk about the subject too in more detail, you want to talk about creative financing, please, my DMs are open. Reach out to your friend. I'd love to help you out, all right? Until the next one, bye guys.